Hello, welcome back. How have you been keeping? Hope you're all good. This week, I'm back up at the winter shelter that I built last year. I've not been here for quite a few months, so I wanted to come and see how it was getting on. Now, I'm in two minds about this shelter. I think I'm kind of at the point with this spot where I really love it. It's a really, really nice spot. There's loads of good trees here. There's a load of Douglas fir and a load of ash. Ash being like probably the better firewood around here, really. But it has been standing here for a year, and I'm kind of ready to move on and build somewhere else for this winter. It's like a bit of a theme on this channel. Every winter I go and build a new shelter somewhere. So yeah, I'm thinking rather than just letting it stand and rot, I think I've had my time here, let's move on, new spot, new shelter. It's not holding up too bad. The roof is still living. It's still a really nice green colour. There's still things growing out the roof, as you can see. The moss insulator, if you like, that goes between the horizontal pieces that build up the walls, most of that is still there, still intact. It hasn't fallen through, apart from at the top, which has got the biggest space, so I kind of expected that to happen. I'm repping this t-shirt today of Bill, who we sadly lost just over a year ago. Hope you're resting easy up there, brother. No doubt whittling a staff or making something. Really, really top bloke. Heart of gold. I think I'm just going to cowboy camp it. I'm just going to rough it by the fire, straight on the pelt. Does anybody else think yellow stag's horn just looks like how you used to draw flames when you were a kid? Or do you remember those black shirts we used to wear to school discos with the flames coming up from the bottom? I want to make a little birch bark candle shield on a little stake which is split down the middle. It's pretty cool on that. I've got two new candles and I love a candle vibe at camp. It's just mega, innit? And yeah, we'll see what else we get up to. I've got a new big axe that I've been using. I've done them before with an old beer tin. You kind of score out a capital I in your can, and then on the vertical bit you push that in, and then you can keep the pattern of the can. If you've got like a cool craft ale tin and it's got like a cool pattern on, you can keep it, but it then becomes depressed into the can. Looks proper cool with a little candle in there. I think today as well, with all of this dead fern about, it makes great tinder bundles. So I'm thinking I might do a bow drill today. Go for the old friction fire. And there is some sycamore around here, and I've used sycamore as a half board before, so I'm probably going to go find a bit of sycamore and make a new set. It's been so long since I've been here, but I'm kind of hoping that the camp robin comes at some point today or in the morning, because when I was coming down here regularly, every time I was here in the morning it'd just be hopping about, and I chuck it little bits of bread and that. I know they say, oh, don't interfere with nature, blah blah. Like, yeah, alright mate, if there's a cool little robin there, he's getting some bread. I've got a really cool giveaway in this video as well. I've got another knife by Luke at York Knife to give away, which I'll talk to you a little bit about later. This bit of Douglas fir bark looks like that'll do nicely for our little candle surround, so that's coming with me. And coming on to this felled ash tree. Oh, there's a robin. He's just gone behind that tree. He's gone, isn't he? He's gone. And being lots of fallen ash around this woods, big pile over there, a few trees over there, they get ash dieback. It's really bad in the UK, and a lot of woodlands are suffering, well, most woodlands are suffering from it now. Not only is it alright firewood, we've got our cramp balls under there as well. So I'm going to restock. No, that one's a bit too far gone. So is that one? No, no. So no for them ones. Oh, what's about this big one here? Too wet, way too wet. Some of them, when they get old, they just start to crumble. You want ones that are like, they'll break in two and it looks shiny and it looks like they've got a grain in them. I'm going to cut one of these branches off so we've got some nice big chunky bits to split down with the axe and get a nice log fire going, rather than just spindly bits that you take like that, you know, the old pine and the old Douglas fir that just leans up. It's good to get your fire going. It's good for like your first stages of kindling and stuff. See these bits, like just after your tinder, they go on perfect. And then you can use the rest of the tree building up till you get to about here. Like the first, I'd say the first 30-40 centimetres of a fallen tree I don't even bother with, because it's normally where it's rotted out and snapped, and it just contains a lot of moisture. But the higher up the tree you go, the drier it is, because it's a lot smaller as well, and it dries out quicker. Anyway, moving on with our journey, although I need to go and get my saw because I put it down. Don't want to be leaving that lying around. If you are interested, not a plug, but it's a Silky Big Boy Outback edition. Really cool folding saw, cuts on the pull, Japanese made, well renowned in the bushcraft community and the tree surgery community actually. You know it's a good tool if the tree surgeons are using them. Got some more fallen ash there as well, and some sycamore. How can I tell it's sycamore? Well, the bark is quite smooth like beech, but it's a different colour, it's more brown. And also a good indication, when it's got no leaves on and you're just dealing with the bark, just have a look around the floor, because you can tell by the leaves, all of these are sycamore leaves. And I'm just looking around, that's not a sycamore, that's not a sycamore, they're sycamores. So I'm looking at this and I'm thinking spindle for the friction fire, the bow drill set. So I might cut it here and here. I'll have to straighten it up a little bit with my knife, but that'll work out well, that I reckon. I see people over there. Don't think you can. Anyways, I've got the spindle. Now I'm going to look for a bow that I can put a slit in each end and then tie some paracord on, so we've got our bow. Twist that in. And then we've got to make the half board. Whoa, look at the amount of mushrooms on this ash. Sheesh. Whoa. What was a flipping snake, mate? It was just a branch. Wow. Look at that. That is incredible. There are so many on there. Go on then. Props to whoever can guess what it is. Put it in the comments, you guess, and I'll let you know who was right. And on the travels, I found some more cramp balls. Is that any good? Nope. 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 No. Right, I feel like I'm taking the mick here. If one of these is bad, I'm just going to leave the rest. Yeah, they're all too far gone. Thinking this old bit of fur looks like it might be a good bow. You want it slightly bowed, but not too bowed, because you don't want it too far away from the spindle, so it keeps pinging out all the time. It is dead as well. Now we need a bearing block. So I need a nice small round piece. I don't know, guesstimations, like if you put your fingers around, that sort of diameter. Split it in half, make a little notch, put a leaf or a bit of spit in there, sharpen the spindle up, and that'll spin in there without burning your bearing block out. Bearing block about that size, just needs splitting in two. Oh, before the jack comes, I might be a weekend bushcrafter, but I work with hand tools every day at work, I work with cutting tools every day at work, and it doesn't matter who you are, you're gonna get cut eventually. It's one of them occupational hazards that just happens every now and again, so I'm gonna stop and clean that up. And that also is a very good example of why you should wear gloves out in the woods when you're doing this sort of stuff. Funnily enough, mine are only just there in my Bergen. I'm just a tit and didn't put them on. It's always when you don't wear them, innit? Typical. Literally, I was out in the woods last week on my own. I didn't film it or anything, but I had my gloves on all day. No issues, mate. I might have secretly started on another shelter project. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure. I basically went out last week and built 2 firewalls, like one at the front, one at the back, and then I had a fire in the middle and I slept on the floor between them, so it was kind of bouncing that heat back and forth to an extent. Don't get me wrong, heat rises, goes up with the flames, but it's definitely a little bit more noticeable. I wasn't quite happy with the bow, so I've gone back to get a different piece. That's sycamore as well, and then I cut a piece of sycamore, split it down into a plank. This is about, I don't know, 2.5 inches thick. I need to split this down into a thinner piece. That's going to be my half board. And I also got 2 straights to make the surrounds for the candles, and the bark is over there. So now it's just a case of sitting here with my knife for a little bit. Always good to practice the knife skills. And this knife is the one that I'm going to be giving away, cleaning all the little nibs off the bow. Tell you what, I'm going to use the bow to batten down the sycamore board, and I'll use the bearing block to do it on. Perfect. Yeah, I might save that for a feather stick for the fire tonight then. So, bow drill tomorrow. Yeah, we'll save it for tomorrow. And obviously you want your spindle as straight as possible, because that's what's going to be spinning. And if you get one that isn't that straight, it just keeps knocking it out the hole, and it's just a bit of a nightmare. So if you spend a bit of time on it and get it nice, one end you want thinner than the other, because you want the least amount of friction on the bearing block, because you're not trying to burn that into an ember, are you? You just want it spinning. It's just a bearing block, just to bear the load. And the end that goes in the half board, you want to chamfer it down, but not a sharp chamfer, it's more of a rounded end. And if you've made bow drill sets before and you've seen this on YouTube before, I do apologise, but there are people out there that don't go and do this stuff, and they just watch it through channels like this, and they might not have seen it. So, and for me it's good to practice. Like I say, it's been ages since I did bow drill. I'm just in love with the ferro rod too much. It's just quick and easy, isn't it? And it doesn't really fail. It's in my kit all the time. I mean, it doesn't have to be as steep as that. You can kind of do it near the top, but it's basically like making a peg with your knife for that top end. Bottom end is rounded off. Yeah, I might need to get it a bit flatter as well, but it's coming along. It's coming along. And there's my half board. You can see I've made a little indentation. You basically stab your knife in and then start twisting it and then changing the angle slightly. So you kind of start chamfering it out a little bit, just enough so the spindle can sit in there. And then what you do is called burning it in, where you'll just go hard on the bow until it makes the circle. It will go all black. And then I'll show you the next step where you cut the V in. There's the bearing block. I've split it. Same principle in the middle. That's just a stab and a slight twist, because obviously you've got the tapered end sitting in there. Alright, with these candle holders then, I've basically just made a peg, chamfered the top, and I'm just going to split it down maybe like an inch. That's it. I'm going to twist the knife to open it up, and then I'll slide the bark in there and kind of bend it round into a shield. I need to get some paracord now, and I'm going to tie the candle to the candlestick. Pretty cool, eh? Works an absolute treat. I suppose if you did have birch bark, which was less dark of a colour, you'd get a bit more of that light reflecting back as well. So not only is it a windshield, but it kind of turns more into a lantern, I guess. It makes that small little flame glow a bit more. Right then, it's firewood time. So, it's normally 90 degrees like that, yeah? And your saw blade is to the side of the piece you're cutting on. And when it goes through, the saw blades often dip in and touch the floor. If you turn it to more of a 45, like that, and you cut here, the saw blade will go into the tree. I mean, unless you're front heavy, but if you're cutting normally, the tip will more likely go into the tree than the floor. When you get lazy, your form can get bad, and then you start making mistakes, and you know what it's like when you're tired or drunk. But yeah, just a little tip to help save your saw a little bit. Thirsty workout here. It's like the end of October, about to be November, and it was 19 degrees today. Oh, what's going on, mate? Looks like he's telling me off in the woods, look. What a boy. Do you want to see me new axe then? It's pretty darn lovely. More of a felon axe really. It's by Beavercraft. I've been using it for a couple of weeks. It's had an oiling on the handle. I've not had to hone it up or strop it or do anything with it yet. Convex grind. Big whopper of a head, look. It's an absolute beast. It's got some nice shapes there. All forged, properly done. They're a really cool company, Ukrainian brand. Bit of dead man's finger action on the go. Someone left a comment on one of my videos saying, I'm surprised you haven't had any paranormal like goings on in your videos because loads of other outdoors YouTubers have and all of that sort of stuff. This spot I'm at now, see, I don't really feel none of that when I'm out. If I hear a tree branch snap or something, I know it's a deer or, you know, a bit of deadfall. But this spot here, ever since I've been camping here, I have had weird goings on. Like, I've been sat by the fire exactly where my pelt is now before, and it felt like someone was like right behind me, and I've turned round and then it's felt like it was over there, and I found myself sat there with a head torch for about 20 minutes going around the wood, and it just felt like, you know when you get them weird feelings of just like someone's watching you. So yeah, to answer whoever's question it was, I do get some weird paranormal stuff, but only at this spot. And it's not the only time it's happened down here. It's happened about 3 times here. Birds are in for the evening. They're like little finches or something. They go around in like a group of 20 of them, just hopping branch to branch. And it sounds like they're all here now. Earlier, they were all the way over there. Look at this, it looks like some sort of flipping seance going on or something, doesn't it? Both the candles on the go now, just a fire to light really. Ray Mears will be the first person to tell you the most important thing in your fire lighting kit is a lighter. Birch bark that I had in my bag. It's like flipping Rizzler paper, that stuff. It just goes up so easy. I think the best thing that you can get for blowing your flames is a kneeling pad. It just wafts it absolutely perfect. Hello mate. One thing to be aware of, if you are burning wood like Douglas fir that has the blisters full of sap in them, if campfire smoke wasn't bad enough in the eyes, when the sap starts burning and that gets into the smoke, that hits different. Trust me, it's horrible, it's so noticeable, and it just adds that extra sting. Slight change of plan to tonight's activities, because my friend Paul is going to come over from Leicester. So I'm just sitting here waiting for him. He's leaving Leicester now. He should be here in about 2 hours, which means I'm going to hold off on cooking some tea. I'm not really that hungry yet, so I'm just going to sit and wait for Paul. I'm on my second tinny, which is a vocation crush hour. That's a text message. Is that Paul? It is Paul. You can hear the blisters of sap popping if you listen closely. It smells really good though, and you can use it for sore throats and toothache and stuff like that. You can rub it on your gums. It's just like a strong toothpaste. Right, everybody, this is Paul Tucker, Paul of the Wild 07 if you're on Instagram.
Hi.
Hi. Cheers for making the effort to come all this way, man.
No worries, man.
You're a flipping legend, bro.
Nice to be in the wood.
Tatties are boiling nicely, sausage and onion is on, carrots are on, Paul's now sorting the gravy, and then you've got a bit of steak to go with yours, and I'm having the sausages. Not too shabby, eh? Camp Robin is here. Hello. Good morning. Not a bad sleep, didn't rain. That's a start, isn't it? Pretty cosy. The candle's still going. The lantern's still going. Oh yeah, we ran out of firewood last night, so the executive decision to start dismantling the shelter. It's the right thing to do, isn't it? Take it down if I'm moving on from here. I'll probably still come camping round here and all that. The Wanderer returns.
Found my way.
There is just mushrooms as far as the eye can see. So many different types as well. I've just seen some amethyst deceivers over by the sycamore on the ash over there. Paul's on making a new bow drill set as well. Right then, as you can probably see, it's a different day. I didn't manage to get an ember on that camp. It's a couple of days later now. I'm just out in my local woods. I think the problem was the spindle. When I looked at it after having a few attempts, it looked like only the very bottom of it was actually doing any burning. It's supposed to be quite flat with just a very slightly rolled edge. And I think that one was too tapered and it was only the end of it getting hot. Righty then, time to do the knife giveaway. This is a bit of a collab between me and Luke, or York Knife. He's made another one of his bear cubs, but with a little twist. And we've got a Kydex sheath with a East Anglian Bushcraft leather wrapped logo around it, which is really cool. I love the positive click on these. Just sounds good, it's never going to fall out of there. As I say, it's the bear cub range that he does. It's got a stainless steel blade, Scandi grind on there, nice olive green liners between the scales. The scales are Makata, 3 loveless bolts, 90-degree spine, East Anglian Bushcraft logo on one side of the knife, and then York Knife logo on the other. And just to top it off, on the underside of the knife, it says Top Shagger. So all you've got to do, if you want to win it for free, just do me the honour of subscribing to the channel and leave a comment saying York Knife. That's all you've got to do, and I'll draw the winner probably on the next video, so keep your eyes peeled for the next video if you enter. So big thank you to Luke, really appreciate the collab, mate. You're an absolute legend. Go check out his website, really good bit of kit, it will last you a lifetime. Right, I'm going to leave this week's video here. Hopefully I'll see you next week. Cheers for watching, appreciate you all, peace and love, see you in a bit.